Ever wondered how to determine the freshness of shellfish? It's more than just a question of taste. The freshness of shellfish plays a key role in both the culinary quality of your dishes and your health. Making the right choice can mean the difference between a delightful dining experience and an uncomfortable one. We're going to explore the factors that signal the freshness of shellfish, helping you make informed decisions. So don't click away. Stay tuned to find out how you can identify fresh shellfish. Before we dive into the freshness factors, it's crucial to understand what shellfish are. Shellfish, not to be confused with the term seafood, specifically refers to aquatic creatures that possess a shell or a shell-like exterior. They are broadly classified into two categories: crustaceans and mollusks. Crustaceans include species like crabs, lobsters, and shrimps, while mollusks can be further divided into three subcategories: bivalves, gastropods, and cephalopods. Bivalves include clams and mussels, gastropods encompass snails, and cephalopods bring in the likes of squids and octopuses. These diverse varieties of shellfish are a significant part of culinary cultures around the world, being the stars of dishes from the bouillabaisse of France to the sushi of Japan. They not only add unique flavors and textures, but also offer a plethora of nutritional benefits, making them a favorite among health-conscious individuals. Now that we have a basic understanding of shellfish, we can proceed to the main topic. The first factor to consider when determining the freshness of shellfish is the smell. Now you may think, well, isn't shellfish supposed to smell like fish? In truth, fresh shellfish should have a clean, salty scent, reminiscent of the sea breeze on a sunny day at the beach. This is because shellfish, like clams, mussels, and oysters, spend their lives in seawater, filtering food particles out of the ocean. As a result, they embody the essence of the sea in their aroma. In contrast, a strong, fishy smell is usually a red flag. This odor is not a sign of freshness, but rather an indication of spoilage. Decomposition in shellfish, as in other seafood, starts almost immediately after death. Bacteria and enzymes start breaking down the tissues, producing chemicals like ammonia and amines, which have a strong, unpleasant smell. Thus, a fishy odor is a clear warning sign that the shellfish are past their prime and may not be safe to eat. Similarly, a sour or off-putting smell can signal trouble. Shellfish, like other seafood, can become contaminated with harmful bacteria or toxins. These microorganisms can produce gases and chemicals that give the shellfish a sour or unusual smell. In the seafood industry, the sniff test is an important quality control measure. Professionals in the field rely on their noses to assess the freshness of the catch. They understand that the nose knows when it comes to seafood. The same principle applies when you're shopping for shellfish at the market or ordering at a restaurant. So the next time you're selecting shellfish, remember to follow your nose, trust your senses. If the shellfish smell fresh and briny, like a gentle sea breeze, that's a good sign. But if they smell fishy, sour, or just off, it's best to steer clear. Remember, a fresh sea smell is a good sign, but a fishy or sour smell signals trouble. The second factor to consider is the appearance. Yes, in the world of shellfish, looks do matter. They can tell us a great deal about the freshness of these marine delicacies. Let's begin with shrimp. When choosing shrimp, look for bright, clear eyes. The eyes are the window to a shrimp's soul, and they should sparkle with life. Dull or sunken eyes can be a sign of a shrimp past its prime. Equally important is the color. Fresh shrimp should have a translucent quality, a kind of shimmer that speaks to their freshness. If you see any discoloration or black spots, it's best to steer clear. Now, let's move on to mussels and clams. These shellfish should always have tightly closed shells. Think of it as their way of saying, I'm fresh and ready for your plate. If the shell is open, give it a tap. If it doesn't close, this is a clear sign that the shellfish is no longer fresh. On the contrary, an open shell that doesn't close upon a tap can be a sign of a deceased shellfish, which is not safe to eat. And what about oysters? For these briny treats, look for a well-sealed shell. An oyster that's fresh should be difficult to pry open. If it's easy, it's likely the oyster is not fresh. Now let's talk about the shell condition. Regardless of the type of shellfish, you should avoid those with broken or damaged shells. These are more susceptible to bacteria and can spoil faster. Even a small crack can be a gateway for contaminants. Remember, the appearance of shellfish is not just about aesthetics, it's a vital clue to their freshness and quality. So, the next time you find yourself in front of a seafood counter, take a moment to really look at what's in front of you. A pristine appearance is always a promising signal of freshness. So, don't be shy. Let your eyes do some of the fishing and you'll be rewarded with the freshest, tastiest shellfish. The third factor is the touch. Now we're delving into the tactile world of shellfish freshness. The texture of shellfish can tell us a lot about how fresh it is. It's a hands-on approach, quite literally, to ensuring you're getting the best of the sea's bounty. Let's talk about the firmness first. Fresh shellfish should feel firm to the touch. When you press your fingers into the flesh of a fresh shellfish, it should spring back into place. It's a bit like testing a ripe avocado or a fresh loaf of bread. If it holds its shape and doesn't cave under gentle pressure, you're holding a fresh piece of shellfish. Now, onto the sliminess, or rather, the lack of it. A fresh shellfish should never feel slimy. Sliminess can indicate that the shellfish is starting to spoil. It's a sign of bacteria growth, which can lead to foodborne illnesses. So, if you're getting a slippery sensation when you handle a shellfish, it might be a good idea to give it a miss. Lastly, let's touch upon the mushiness. Fresh shellfish should never feel mushy. Mushiness is another sign that the shellfish is past its prime. It's a clear indication that the flesh is starting to break down and the texture is becoming less appealing. If the shellfish feels mushy, chances are it's not fresh and should be avoided. So there you have it. The touch is a powerful tool when it comes to determining the freshness of shellfish. It's about using your senses to ensure you're getting the best quality. Remember, fresh shellfish should feel firm, not slimy or mushy. It's about finding that perfect balance of firmness without being too hard, and smoothness without being slippery or slimy. In essence, the touch is all about engaging with your food on a deeper level. It's about understanding the subtle signs that nature gives us and using them to our advantage. So, next time you're out shopping for shellfish, don't be afraid to get a little hands-on. A firm, non-slimy texture is another positive sign of freshness. So engage your senses and let the touch guide you to the freshest shellfish. So, how can you ensure you're choosing fresh shellfish? As we've delved into throughout this video, there are 3 key factors to consider when determining the freshness of shellfish: the smell, the appearance, and the touch. Firstly, the smell. This is the initial indicator that can significantly determine the freshness of the shellfish. Fresh shellfish should have a clean, salty scent, reminiscent of the sea. If the shellfish emits an off-putting or overly fishy smell, it's a clear sign that the shellfish may be past its prime, so remember, your nose knows. Secondly, the appearance. Visual cues can be incredibly telling. For instance, the shells of fresh shellfish should be tightly closed or should snap shut when tapped. If they remain open, it's a clear sign that the shellfish may not be fresh. Furthermore, the flesh should appear plump and moist, and the color should be vibrant and consistent. Any discoloration, dryness, or inconsistency can be a red flag signaling that the shellfish is no longer fresh. Lastly, we have the touch. Fresh shellfish should feel heavy for its size, indicating a good amount of meat inside. The shells should feel strong and sturdy, not brittle or slimy. When it comes to shucked shellfish like oysters, they should feel firm to the touch, not mushy or overly soft. These 3 factors, smell, appearance, and touch, are intertwined and crucial in determining the freshness of shellfish. They're not only important for your health, as consuming spoiled shellfish can lead to food poisoning, but also for the overall culinary success of your dish. Fresh shellfish will always taste better, providing a delightful sea-kissed flavor that's hard to beat. By keeping these factors in mind, you can navigate the seafood market or your local grocery store's seafood section with confidence. You'll be able to select high-quality, fresh shellfish that will make your next seafood feast a resounding success. So, remember to trust your senses. They are your best tools when it comes to selecting fresh shellfish. Use your nose to detect any off smells, your eyes to spot any visual inconsistencies, and your hands to feel the weight and texture of the shellfish. By considering these factors, you can confidently select fresh shellfish for your next seafood feast. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment for more insightful videos.